All right, good morning, everybody. Let's give it a couple moments, wait for you guys to join, and then I'll get started. All right, so let's take a look here. As you guys can see, here's the chart of the futures, and price is right near resistance. So no surprise that when price hits resistance, it may want to pull back a little bit. So we got to watch and see if it can get above that 29, 64, 50-ish, right up in this level. You want to see it continue up that way. But at this point, just kind of use that 9 EMA. At this point, it's kind of like your support level. So its price is kind of farther away from the 9 EMA. So naturally, it wants to kind of move back down here. So now we'll see. Bottom line, if it can kind of stay above this 9 EMA, don't be surprised if we start having pullbacks down to this area before it either, bounces off right down here and continues up, or if it starts to fail. So we got to watch and see what happens. It kind of has a rising wedge-ish pattern right now, so kind of like this a little bit, right? So it kind of has a rising wedge pattern. Now, typically, when you have a rising wedge, many times price will fall out of that rising wedge. So got to watch and see. It's kind of in this range right now, kind of pinching. So obviously, if you're bullish on it, you want to see it break above and out of this rising wedge. But typically with rising wedges, they're typically, when price kind of gets up here, a lot of times will fall out of it. That's why you can use these moving average lines as support level below. So what does that all mean, basically? Well, stocks, remember, most of them run with the market. So when you start having days like this and these smaller candles and down here, stocks run with the market. So when you have indecision, it obviously makes, trading a little bit more difficult. So those are the days where it becomes a little bit of a challenge. So let's take a look at the pre-market. We'll look at the ones from our watch list and see a couple from trade ideas. Again, if you head over to our website, bullishbears.com, every night we post the day trade watch list right here. And a few times a week we post a swing trade watch list here. So make sure you bookmark both these links or both those pages. And then every morning by 9:15 a.m. we post the trade ideas gappers right here. So we take our watch list and trade ideas gappers and create our watch list every morning, right? So let's take a look at the ones from our watch list and see what's happening. You'll see, again, our watch list doesn't get a lot of volume pre-market, which isn't so bad because you'll see at some point within a half hour or an hour in the market, you'll probably see one of these two. You might have a few 100,000 or more in volume. You got to let the patterns play out. Remember, everybody's looking at trade ideas this morning, not necessarily ones from our watch list. So that's why we like to have a combination. You'll see some kind of lower float ones as well as some very high float ones. These higher float ones run almost like a swing trade or a larger cap stock. So, if you like to be in and out of a stock very quickly, then look at low floaters. But if you want to be in a trade a little bit longer, these higher in medium float stocks could allow you to be in a momentum trade for a little bit longer. So don't sleep on our watch list. Personally, I like trading them more than I do trade ideas because I'm more of a medium to higher float stock. I'm not necessarily a lower float guy because I love patterns. Like I love finding stuff like this, right? I can see a rising wedge. I can see bull flags. This is what I personally like. I like to have time to get in and out of a trade. But that's just my preference. So that's why we show you guys a combination of both the low floaters and the high to medium float stocks. So with that being said, let's take a look here at CVM. This is on the watch list. I was saying this one's still moving up a little bit. Kind of has a head and shoulders potentially. But if this one can continue up, you can see in pre-market, it's still kind of holding a little bit. So if it can go and get above that $8 range, between $8 to $8.50, if it can get above $8, That's a potential for 50-cent move. So we tell you guys, again, don't get greedy. So if, when you're scalping or looking to day trade, if this thing can get above $8, if it has the potential to move 50 cents, you might be able to scalp 10, 15, 20 cents out of it, right? So keeping you away from the herd, not saying this one's definitely going to go up by any means, but you can say, it's resistance right at $8, needs to get above $8. So this is one we'll just keep on watch and see if that will continue up and get volume. Next up, EV or EGO. I think that's a gold stock. So kind of another one here. You can see this one's already kind of broken out. It's a bit overextended. Again, just wanting to see if there's a continuation day. If this can get above that 520-ish level, I would look next up. I would even just put a line right at 550. So if it can get above those whole and half dollar amounts, right? So if it can get above 520, I would just even put a line right here around 550. So if this can continue up and get above 520, I'd watch. That has the potential, of moving potentially 30 cents or so. Again, if you can scalp 10, 15 cents out of that on a higher float stock, not so bad. It may allow you to be in there longer. Doesn't mean this is going to, gap up today. It's a Friday. Market's pulling back a little bit, so it might not do much of anything today, but we'll keep it on watch. If you look at our watch list, many times it takes 45 minutes or an hour. Look at these patterns like on a 5-minute chart, and this is exactly right here. This is probably the perfect this is probably like the perfect thing I can show you right here. This is what you'll see a lot on our watch list. Look at this 5-minute chart. I'm not saying all of the stocks do this, but you see this? You got to let the patterns play out. Look at that. A bull flag, a bull flag, a bull flag. Obviously, this is on our watch list today. This is not happening now. But you'll typically see, if you let the 5-minute charts play out on our watch list, you'll see patterns, right? You'll see a bull flag, an ascending triangle, a bull flag. You'll get time to get in and out of our trades if you just kind of like let a 5-minute chart set up. But as you can see, these take time, right? So with trade ideas, which again, great tool, the low floaters, everybody's staring at them, you don't see a lot of these patterns. You might see this on a 1-minute chart, and then afterwards it's done. It just pumped up and then it's dumped down. You don't see a lot of this play out. So this is what you'll notice. I'm telling you, if you just take our watch list, I would bet money at least one out of these 5 today, some point within an hour, will give you a nice pattern on a 5-minute chart. It just happens like clockwork on our watch list. So I would encourage you, just have these up, throw a 5-minute chart up, and then watch which one gets a 500,000 volume or near it and gives you a nice bull flag back to the 9 EMA or an ascending triangle. I'd bet money. I mean, typically 4 days out of the week. It is a Friday, so it could be a little bit more of a challenge, but I would bet one of these is going to have a good, decent pattern like this. So this is the stuff that you're looking for. Same thing on a low floater. If you're trading the low floaters, you still want to see these bull flags. But you typically don't get a lot of them on a 5-minute chart. You're going to be trading it on a 1-minute chart, and then it breaks out, take your profits, and get out before it dumps. So that's EGO. I'm going to put that one. Obviously, with EGO, you want to see it get above 520. Next up, CDE. Here's another one. A bit overextended. So some of these have been overextended. It was holding its high. So right here, you can see pre-market gapping up just a little bit, or it's continuing a little bit up pre-market. So at this point, I want to see it get above 420. If it can get above 420 area, I'm just going to remove this drawing. Next up, look at the 200 SMA. So again, if it can get above 420 and continue up, 420 up to 450, that's the potential of 30 cents. If you can scalp 10, 15 cents out of it, not a bad trade on a very higher float stock. So this thing is probably going to move like a snail, right? It's probably just going to move really slow. So I'm going to keep CDE on watch as well. And what else? Last, GBTC, that's a Bitcoin stock. So that kind of runs, I believe, with the Bitcoin sector. And as you can see right there, look at that. It's up pre-market. So this is when I was showing kind of a cup and handle within a cup and handle. If watch right here, $13 I had, you can see at or above 1273. You can see it's above that. It's above $13 now. So this one might rip this morning. So keep an eye on GBTC. Might be setting up for a potential breakout. So that one looks the best so far, GBTC. And last one, ADMS. This one was holding its highs. Moving average lines are pinching. So we'll see if this can get above that 561-ish level. And then look if it can, that 50 SMA, if it can get above it. Next up, look around $6. Again, this is kind of a lower-ish float stock. So if this one can continue up, you'll see most of these are holding their highs right now for a potential continuation. So all 5 of these, even though they don't have much volume, they're at or near their highs from the previous day and up pre-market. So if they can get some volume and the patterns can complete, you know, these might go up a little bit where you can get a scalp. So those are the ones for the watch list that we're looking at. They all look, at the moment, pretty decent. They're not selling off pre-market. So, yeah, that's what I challenge you guys. Take all 5 of these, throw them up just like this. This is what I do. Right here, I have a 5. Actually, this should be 5 minute. That's what I wanted to do. 5 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute. Here we go. So I have 5 minute charts up. All I'm going to do is watch these 5. Watch if they can get above these pre-market highs right up in here. And then watch if I can get a bull flag or an ascending triangle entry. And then look at daily resistance and then see what room, you know, get an entry on a 1 minute if something holds. And then decide my exit, you know, on the scalp, right? If there's 30 or 40 cents to move to the resistance, you try to scalp your 10, 15, 20 cents or watch, obviously, the patterns, you know, let the patterns and the candlesticks show you. So this is it. I just take this right here, this screen, I throw it over to a second screen and just let the patterns play out. Sometimes they play out quickly, and then sometimes they take a half hour or an hour. But you'll see. I would bet money one of these are going to do something. So, all right, let's take a look at trade ideas. A couple of them over there. You'll see we post that right up here, the gappers. And oh, look at that. Dan put a nice little chart up here of CTRV. So that is that looks like a really low floater. So CTRV, let's take a look at that one pre-market. Oh yeah, okay, let's see. 717. So right at the bat, right off the bat, I can't talk this morning. It pulled back right around that 727 level. No coincidence, that's right below that 20 EMA. So at this point, kind of draw your trend line and see if the buyers will come in and hold with pushing price up. And you can see that 730-ish level would be resistance. So see if the pattern will hold and continue. It's very sloppy right now, but it's one to keep an eye on. Everybody's watching it, but you're going to see again with CTRV, this is a very, very, very low float stock. So that's why, as you can see, a stock like this, it gaps, it goes up really quickly. Look at this candlestick, you know. So this is where you got to determine, you know, when trading, do you like the low floaters that, you know, pump up really quickly and then dump really quickly, or do you like the ones that, you know, kind of slowly grind up and where you can scalp? You know, if you know what you're doing, then trade the low floaters. Those are really good. You can get it in and out sometimes. You know, these are trades Again, not in the pre-market, we don't suggest trading, but at the open, if you get in, here would be like pretending this is the open right now. It's still very overextended past. You can even see this bull flag or that pennant right here. You can see this pennant here. It's still kind of far away from these moving average lines. And you can see, not too bad of a candle. This is what you would see with a low floater typically. You get typically like one shot right here. It takes off. You got to take your profits within, just pretend these were like a minute candlesticks. You'd be out within a minute or so, right? So if you're a new trader, it's very difficult to learn these patterns and trade them very quickly because they take time to learn, and like these candlesticks are just giant. That's why we teach you guys, trade our watches for a little bit until you feel comfortable. Trade the lower or the medium, the higher float ones. Find these patterns on our watch list, trade them, learn how to scalp, get comfortable, then move over into the low floaters, because you're going to take this same bull pennant is the same thing you'd be looking for on a stock like, a penny stock. Also the same thing you'd look for on Apple or Netflix or Google. You're looking for these pennant patterns. Ideally, this is what you're ideally looking for right here. So if I could teach you anything, this is exactly what you want to see. Bull flags right here. This is ideally what you want to look for right here. Like these types of setups right here. Stock moves up, pulls back towards the moving average lines, breaks out. Comes back down. This one actually I like a lot better. That's a better bull flag. That's safer because it's near the moving average lines. Right here. That is what you're looking for. Stock to move up, pull to the moving average lines, give you a small kind of hammer candle, risk off that, and then decide as it breaks out, are you going to take profits out here or are you going to wait for a close below the 9 EMA on a 1 or a 5 minute chart, depending on where you want to risk. This is what you want. Price goes up, pulls back to the moving average lines, bull flag. If I can teach you anything, this is ideally what you want to see. On any chart, if you're trading the low floaters, you want to see this on a 1 minute setup, and then when it breaks out on a low floater, you're taking that profit within very quickly, probably a minute, maybe two if you're lucky. If you miss this entry in a low floater, then it starts getting like this stuff up here, and it becomes more challenging to trade. But I'm telling you guys, take these ones on our watch list, throw up a 5 minute chart, and watch. Something will do this. If it's not today, typically Monday through Thursday. And that's it. This is what we teach all day long. If you guys are not a member of our trade room or our community, come and join us up here. The link will be below. We have trade rooms. We teach all this stuff all day long in our trade rooms. We do live streaming every single day for a couple hours every morning. Our course is up here. Again, our watch list every night up over in here. And then for those that want our trade alerts and our setups, right over here. So hopefully this video helped you guys. I'll see you guys all later and have a great trading day. Enjoy.